Like a lot of people out there right now, I'm trying to get back into shape, and my best workouts are always accompanied by metal music. All of that concentrated energy and aggression is just made for pumping iron. So I thought I'd share my top 10 favorite metal albums that make me feel like I can lift a car while pulling a freight train. And first up is Meshuggah with Koloss. Now for this list, I'm looking for top to bottom bangers with basically no downtime, where every single track makes me want to bench press a cement mixer. This is that album. Listening to I Am Colossus makes me feel like I'm a big lumbering giant ready to crush anything that gets in my way. Then that crazy tapping riff on The Demon's Name is Surveillance is like pure adrenaline injected straight into my veins. Do Not Look Down and Break the Bones Whose Sinews Gave It Motion are unapologetic stank-face groove machines for lifting weights, while The Hurt That Finds You First, Marrow, and Swarm are the perfect ragers for something a little bit more aerobic. And then of course there's Demiurge. The only tracks I might skip to maintain peak energy are Behind the Sun and The Last Vigil. Everything else is pure workout fuel. Next up, we have Pantera with Vulgar Display of Power. The first half of this album in particular is just made for getting amped, which is probably why even the jocks at my high school would crank this album during their workouts.
This is part of the warm-up. Get your blood pumping, get your cardiovascular moving. Here you go.
It's easy to make fun of that kind of meathead energy, but in my experience, the more caveman the music, the better the gains. Mouth for War kicks in the fucking door to instantly raise the hype levels, followed immediately by the almost industrial chugs and sick grooves of a new level.
Now when you look in my eyes, my spirit arise. Forget the past, present tense wasn't there.
Even the lyrics on that one talk about increasing power and confidence. Then of course there's the Don't Fuck With Me alpha energy of Walk and Rise, and one of my personal favorite gym playlist roid ragers, Fucking Hostile.
1, 2, 3, 4. Almost every day, same beat. A broken picture too. It's missing attitude.
Even the slower This Love never fails to get my motor running with its scorned lover bitterness. I consider myself to be a pretty low-key intellectual type most of the time, but when I press play on this thing, I instantly turn into the SpongeBob meme. Next up is Abzu with Abzu. Black metal tends to be more of a sit in a dark room brooding kind of music, but there are two bands that bring the intensity I require when I step up to a machine. One is Vindir and the other is Absu. And Absu is the one to choose when you really want to see results. Prescriptor's unhinged mathy drumming in combination with Melissa Moore's almost Dillinger Escape Plan-esque guitar work is like uncut methamphetamine straight to the dome right from the top with Earth Ripper. It'll do the job at the weight bench, but really this is the album I choose when I'm running or swimming even. Yeah, I recently got a pair of these and now I'm headbanging underwater too. Tracks like Scrying in the Spirit Vision and especially Abraxas Connexus make me feel like I could make it across country on foot.
No one can disrupt the dual symmetry.
Throw in Prescriptor's trademark syncopated snarls, and this is black metal with more than enough venom to rival any of the usual albums you might see on a list like this.
Coriander!
Then we have Hatebreed with Weight of the False Self.
Set it right, set it right. Make peace with the mirror now. Set it right, set it right.
The most recent entry on this list coming out in 2020, and many might choose a more classic era album from this band. There are plenty to choose from, but I think this one just dropped at the perfect time when I needed a more motivational voice in my ear. While every other band during the height of COVID was writing albums about misery, despair, and hopelessness, Jamie came in channeling Henry Rollins with a vengeance.
It's all giving it on you. It's all giving it on you. Take your way out. It's all giving it on you.
Dig Your Way Out became the perfect anthem of the need to only push harder and find your inner strength when the world seems to be crumbling around you, and you'd better believe that translated to bigger dumbbells every time I put it on. Other bench-worthy jams include Instinctive, Weight of the False Self, and especially Set It Right, Start With Yourself, coming in like the spiritual successor to the classic Low Self-Opinion.
If you think you should judge someone, start with yourself.
Angry music in general tends to make for great gym fodder, but when you add those "fuck you, you can't stop me" motivational messages to the mix, it's a recipe for some serious muscle building.
You can't tell me what to do.
Then we have Electric Callboy with Tekkno. So we've fully established that rage makes for great fuel, but sometimes so can humor and fun. And Electric Callboy's particular fusion of infectious 90s Eurotrash beats with laugh-out-loud, sing-along lyrics never fails to get me pumped. Hell, it literally opens with a song called Pump It, complete with an 80s workout music video. 31 minutes here without a second wasted when it comes to music that, yes, works great for live shows and road trip headbanging, but also running and lifting. Tracks like Spaceman, Mind Reader, and Arrow of Love worm their way under your skin and make it seemingly impossible to not start moving in some way. And that's also particularly true of the aptly named We Got the Moves.
And everybody's like, oh fuck yeah, let's do it again. We got the move, we got the move.
Hell, I would love to see an instructor legitimately incorporate this into an aerobics class. I don't care if I have to wear full spandex and dance in front of a large group of people. Sign me the fuck up.
Stabil.
Yo, we've still got 5 more albums to cover, but just a reminder that if you're enjoying the video, hit the like button and share your own recommendations to each other down in the comments. Speaking of which, I even polled the audience about their favorite metal albums for the gym, and the shout-out winner I saw the most was actually Discarnate, With All Their Might. Worst albums for the gym included Zasther, Bell Witch, Typo Negative, and Sun. But getting back to the list, we have Dark Tranquillity with Damage Done. Now, it's funny how despite being arguably one of the heaviest genres and one that I love, I don't listen to a lot of death metal at the gym. I considered everything from Carcass to Cannibal Corpse for this list, and while their best albums do have tracks I often put in my playlist, something about their full runtimes just don't keep my blood flowing the way it needs to. That said, this melodic death metal album always comes to mind with high-octane riff after riff on tracks like Monochromatic Stains and The Treason Wall. Not to mention, this is, I believe, the only Dark Tranquillity album where Michael only utilizes harsh vocals, so every single one of these songs is guaranteed to go that much harder. Everyone in the band is playing like some mobster's punk son just killed their puppy, and when they start playing that title track, you'll have revenge pumping through your veins as well. Another one that might be a little bit better for aerobics than lifting, but either way, no matter the context, hearing these songs always makes me want to get on my feet. Then we have Lamb of God with As the Palaces Burn.
This is the rise of no sun, the end of all progress.
Another classic I'm sure you'll find on plenty of other lists, but I really couldn't in good conscience make it without including either this or Ashes of the Wake. Both of them are excellent picks for whatever use you're putting your muscles to, but I find something about the unbridled extremity and raw, unapologetic production makes for a particularly potent steroid. There is not a single track on here that isn't brimming with bloodlust, from the opening call to war of Ruin to the always sneer-inducing 11th Hour. That one never fails to get me snarling along. I feel like I'm dissociating as a completely shredded demon takes over my body. The title track is another shot of adrenaline, but really much of the runtime is made up of more mid-paced plotting chuggers like For Your Malice and Boot Scraper that, in spite of the lower RPMs, prove that intensity isn't always about speed.
Watch the broken coffin and crown is sorrow's at.
You can tell that this album was written by some supremely pissed off dudes, and it's like they were able to channel that energy from their instruments directly into your bloodstream via your eardrums.
But staying active, it's good for your emotional health because it produces endorphins, you know?
Then we have Within the Ruins with Phenomena. I'll take any excuse to talk about this severely underrated band, and let me tell you that in addition to just being something I regularly listen to, they have always found their way into my gym playlist since the 2000s. Really, you could pick pretty much anything out of their discography, but I think that pound for pound, minute for minute, Phenomena has the most bodying moments.
We are revolution! We are gods!
Gods Amongst Men is the perfect opener with that hype as hell lyric going straight into the barn burner riffs. These are those lyrics that make you feel like you're 7 feet tall and 500 pounds with zero body fat, absolutely jacked. Then there's that equally amazing opener to Eternal Shore, which makes me feel like I could crush the damn barbell into a diamond.
Crash against her and be broken!
And vocals aside, Joe Kochi's guitar riffs alone are enough to make you go Bane mode in keeping with the comic book themes of this album, even proving as such with instrumentals that are every bit as impressive and adrenaline-inducing as the others. Then we have Darko with Darko. Deathcore is another genre that lends itself well to the gym with more meathead lyrics and big dumb grooves, but for my money, no band can get my motor running quite as hot as Darko. Now there are a handful of melodic tracks you might want to cut out if you want an interrupted high, but outside of those, this is a monster of a record. Mars Attacks alone is sure to get you adding stacks the natural way. Then there's Splinter Cell, Fiend Dream, and even an appearance of Shadow of Intense Ben Dur stepping the energy up even more on Pretenders. As for why Darko works better than any other deathcore for me in the gym, it's their particular emphasis on rhythm. The djenty riffs, the kinetic drumming, the additional electronics, everything just feeds into that signal that seems to override my brain into this almost hypnotized need to groove along. Even Tom Barber's impressively varied vocal performance has an almost hip-hop adherence to the beat on tracks like The Last of Us. Just disgustingly effective for the gains. Even if you hate deathcore, I challenge you to give this thing a spin at your next lifting session and then report back. We do have a Discord, by the way. And then probably my all-time go-to album for the gym has to be Code Orange with Forever. Another album that never fails to tap directly into my lizard brain, and in the years since it's come out, I don't think anyone else has come even close to topping its break bones, drink blood energy. Forever comes on and I might as well be a crocodile approaching its prey, and when that slow, chunky riff picks up speed with the little pick scrapes, I'm out to kill. Then the vocals kick in and all bets are off. I could probably make an entire video on this song alone, but there's so much more. Kill the Creator is insane technical chaos that's like the audio equivalent of being in the middle of a mosh pit. There's also the very cold, calculated Reel, which feels like a serial killer's mind alternating between hiding their baser impulses between explosive bouts of violence. Those squealing guitars on Spy and chugging palm mutes of No One Is Untouchable make me want to shatter any glass within my immediate vicinity. And then even their more alternative turn with the grungy Bleeding in the Blur, while lacking some of the visceral punch, is still loaded with attitude. Be sure to add your own gym playlist recommendations down in the comments, and check out this video for even more bangers for your next session. I'd even love to see y'all sharing and tagging Metal Trenches in your latest metal workouts. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.